One, don't let distractions steal your life. Most people don't even realize it, but their lives are being stolen, not by fate, not by a circumstance, but by a lack of control. Every single day they're pulled away from what truly matters. Their time is drained by distractions. Their energy is poured into meaningless pursuits. Their minds are filled with noise instead of clarity. They react instead of lead. They hesitate instead of act. They exist instead of mastering their lives. But the Stoics knew something. Most people forget true power. The kind that lasts, the kind that transforms, is built in silence, through discipline, and with relentless focus on the essentials. Marcus Aurelius once warned, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." That's the biggest mistake people make. They assume they have time to waste. They believe they can delay mastery, that they can let distractions rule them just a little longer, that they can put off taking control of their attention, their habits, and their purpose. But those who live by Stoic principles know the truth: tomorrow is not guaranteed. The only moment that belongs to you is this one. This episode isn't about theory, it's about execution. We're breaking down 10 Stoic principles that will help you master your focus, discipline your mind, and build the kind of silent success that doesn't beg for applause because it speaks for itself. If you're ready to stop living on autopilot and start taking full command of your life, these lessons are your map. Let's begin with the first one. Lesson 1. Don't let the noise steal your life. How to take control of your attention. Your mind is under attack every second of every day. Social media platforms are designed to keep you hooked. Notifications are engineered to interrupt you. An endless stream of opinions drowns out your own thinking. And without realizing it, most people surrender. They wake up and immediately check their phones. They fill their minds with noise before they even have a chance to think for themselves. They spend their day reacting instead of acting. And by the time the sun sets, they've given their entire day away to things that do not matter. But a Stoic doesn't live like that. They understand something critical. What you give your attention to, you give your life to. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly, reclaim yourself at once. The time you're given is short. Every moment spent on a distraction is a moment stolen from your growth, your goals, your potential. Most people act like their attention is infinite, like they can afford to waste time on things that don't matter. But here's the truth. The difference between leaders and followers, between the successful and the struggling, comes down to one thing: who controls their attention. Think about the last time you sat in silence. No phone, no music, no scrolling, just stillness. How long could you last? Most people can't do it. They've conditioned themselves to crave distraction, to avoid silence, to fill their minds with whatever noise the world is shouting that day. But Epictetus once said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in things that do not matter." In other words, not everything deserves your attention. The strongest minds are not the ones who know the most trivia. They're the ones who can filter out the noise and stay locked in on what truly matters. So, how do you reclaim control? Step 1. Choose what deserves your attention. Not all information is useful. Not all debates are worth your time. Not all distractions are harmless. Every time you choose to engage with something meaningless, you weaken your ability to focus on something meaningful. So, before you react, before you scroll, before you click, ask yourself, Does this add value to my life? If the answer is no, walk away. Step 2. Train yourself to embrace stillness. People avoid silence because they fear their own thoughts. But silence is where clarity lives. Seneca once warned, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." If your mind is always chasing noise, you will never meet yourself. And if you don't know yourself, you can't master yourself. Start small. 5 minutes of quiet in the morning. A daily walk with no devices. An hour of deep work with no distractions. The more you train yourself to sit in stillness, the stronger your focus becomes. Step 3. Guard your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Attention is your life force. Every moment you give to mindless content, petty arguments, or endless consumption is a moment you'll never get back. Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Want a strong mind? Protect it. Want more discipline? Build it through focus. Want control? Stop giving your attention away. Because a distracted mind leads to a distracted life. But a focused mind builds an unshakable one. Choose wisely. Part 2. Take control of your life before others do. If you don't take full command of your own life, someone else will. It's that simple and that terrifying. Most people drift through life on autopilot. They don't lead. They react. They don't create direction. They wait for it. They let their parents, friends, boss, society, even strangers on the internet tell them who to be, what to do, and what to value. But the Stoics knew the truth. Real freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's having the power to do what you must. Marcus Aurelius cautioned, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others unless it is for some mutual benefit." But most people do waste their lives worrying what others think, chasing approval, following paths they never chose, and living lives they never truly wanted. They're stuck in patterns of behavior, of thought, of expectation. And those patterns serve everyone but themselves. Here's the truth. If you don't actively take control of your mind, your emotions, and your habits, then the world will. Think about it. Did you choose your career because it was your calling or because it was expected? Have you stayed silent about your dreams because you were afraid to disappoint someone? Have you let distractions, trends, or pressure drag you away from what really matters? You're not alone, but if you don't take back control now, it only gets worse, because no one will ever hand you the keys to your life. You have to take them. A Stoic doesn't wait for permission. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait for signs. They act with deliberate intention. They understand that no one, not fate, not society, not even family, has more control over your future than you do. Epictetus said it best, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Let that sink in. You're not free if your emotions control you. You're not free if your habits are shaped by outside pressure. You're not free if your time is owned by other people's expectations. Taking back control starts with one decision. Own your life completely. No more blaming the world. No more blaming your circumstances. No more blaming bad luck, unfair systems, or the past. If you're not where you want to be, change something. Don't like your habits, break them. Don't like where your time goes, reclaim it. No, there's something you need to do. Do it now. Seneca said, "While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away." You don't need more time. You need more action. Here's another hard truth. Discipline is the price of freedom. Most people let their feelings run the show. They say, I'll do it when I feel motivated. I'm waiting for the right mood. I just don't feel like it today. That's weakness. That's victim thinking. A Stoic does what must be done no matter how they feel. They don't wait for motivation. They operate on discipline. They wake up early. They train their minds. They do what others are unwilling to do. Why? Because they understand that discipline is freedom. When you control your habits, you control your outcomes. When you control your thoughts, you control your emotions. When you control your focus, you control your future. And stop waiting for permission to be yourself. No one's going to approve of your dream life, not fully. No one's going to tell you exactly how to get there. There's no roadmap. That's your job, your mission, your responsibility. If you keep waiting for someone to validate your choices, you'll live your entire life by someone else's blueprint. But the moment you really decide that your life is yours, everything changes. You move from the passenger seat to the driver's seat. You stop reacting. You start creating. You take ownership of your mindset, your actions, and your future. That's the difference between people who drift through life and people who master it. Quick recap if you want to reclaim control of your life. Stop waiting for permission. No one will hand you freedom. You have to seize it. Hold yourself accountable. No more excuses, no more blaming. Own your choices. Act even when it's uncomfortable. Discipline over feelings. Always. Let go of needing approval. Live by your values, not others' expectations. Choose intention over reaction. Design your life, don't drift through it. Part 3, Discipline and Sacrifice. Why success never comes without a price. Everyone wants success, but not everyone wants to pay for it. They want the result, but not the routine. They want the reward, but not the rigor. They admire the strength of others, but refuse to endure the struggle it takes to build their own. But the Stoics knew this truth better than anyone. Nothing meaningful in life comes without a cost. Whether it's building a business, transforming your body, mastering your emotions, or sharpening your mind, it all demands sacrifice. Seneca made it clear. The path to greatness is steep, and most people, the moment they see the climb ahead, they turn back. They look for shortcuts. They want hacks. They want fast success. They want comfort. But here's the cold truth. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. If you always choose what's easy, you'll never become strong. If you avoid discomfort, you'll never grow. If you refuse to sacrifice, you'll never build anything meaningful. Just look at history. Every powerful individual, philosophers, leaders, creators endured pain. They walked through failure. They were rejected. They suffered. But they kept going. They did what others were unwilling to do. And that's why they stood above the rest. Epictetus said, difficulties are things that show what men are. The way you handle hardship defines who you are. Avoid struggle and you stay soft. Embrace it and you become steel. But here's something most people misunderstand. Discipline isn't just about working hard once. It's about showing up every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. Anyone can be disciplined when they're motivated, but mastery is built when no one's watching, when you're tired, when you don't feel like it, when quitting seems easier. That's where greatness is forged. Marcus Aurelius had to remind himself, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. A Stoic doesn't argue with their duty. They accept it. They move. They execute. So how do you develop this level of discipline? Step 1, say no to comfort on purpose every day. You're faced with choices all the time. Hit snooze or get up and train. Watch another video or write that chapter. Scroll endlessly or sit down and do deep work. Every single time you choose discomfort over ease, you strengthen your mind. You become the kind of person who does what's necessary, not just what feels good. Step 2, embrace sacrifice as a necessity, not a punishment. Most people avoid sacrifice because they think it's loss. But every true Stoic knows every sacrifice is an investment. The time you give up now to train to learn to improve that time multiplies. It compounds. Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere," meaning if you try to do everything, you'll accomplish nothing. Focus is power. To go deep, you have to let go of what's shallow. To go far, you have to leave some things behind. So, cut the distractions. Say goodbye to the activities that drain you. And give your full self to what truly matters. Step 3, build an unbreakable mindset. Most people crack under pressure. They fall apart the moment things don't go their way. But not the Stoic. A Stoic sharpens under pressure. They don't avoid obstacles. They turn them into training. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "What stands in the way becomes the way. The challenge is the path. The resistance is the lesson. The struggle is the gift." Because, here's the bottom line, success never comes without sacrifice. Discipline is the foundation of everything. Without it, nothing great is possible. The question isn't whether you're capable of achieving more. You are. The real question is, are you willing to endure what it takes? Will you keep choosing comfort, or will you choose greatness? Will you keep chasing ease, or will you choose mastery? Will you keep avoiding the hard path, or will you walk it with courage? Because on the other side of discipline lies everything you've ever wanted. If you're ready for the next breakthrough, let's move on to Part 4. Manage your time like a master, how to make every minute work for you. Just say the word. Part 4. Manage your time like a master, how to make every minute work for you. Time is the only resource you'll never get back. You can earn more money. You can repair broken relationships. You can rebuild your strength. But once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. And yet, most people treat time as if it's infinite. They waste it on meaningless obligations, shallow distractions, and trivial pursuits. They scroll for hours, argue over nonsense, and delay the very things that could change their lives. But the Stoics knew better. They understood that how you use your time determines the quality of your life. Seneca warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Let that sink in. It's not that you don't have enough time, it's that you're not using it right. Most people don't realize they're running out of time until it's too late. They keep telling themselves, "I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. I'll get serious next year." But life doesn't wait. The clock doesn't stop ticking. And the Stoic knows this. They don't live in illusion. They live in urgency. They treat every minute like it matters, because it does. Think about how most people spend their days. They wake up and immediately check their phone. They lose an hour before even getting out of bed. They let notifications dictate their schedule. They jump from one shallow task to the next. By the end of the day, they're exhausted. but they've accomplished nothing that actually moved them forward. Marcus Aurelius saw this coming. He wrote, "Do not act as if you have 1,000 years to live. The time to take control is now." So, how do you master your time like a Stoic? Let's break it down. Step 1. Ruthlessly eliminate the unnecessary. Most of what fills your day is noise. Pointless meetings, mindless entertainment, worrying about things you can't control. These things don't build your life. They steal it. Before doing anything, ask, does this bring me closer to my goals? Is this truly necessary? If the answer is no, cut it out immediately. The Stoics were not just disciplined in thought, they were disciplined in action. They only did what mattered. Everything else they let go. Step 2. Structure your day with intention. Time should not be spent reactively just responding to whatever comes up. It should be designed, planned, built with purpose. A Stoic doesn't wake up and hope to be productive. They engineer productivity. Epictetus said, progress is not achieved by chance, but by training. So train your day. Every morning, ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things I must accomplish today? Write them down. Prioritize them above all else. Protect those tasks like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Step 3. Protect deep focus like a sacred ritual. Most people live in a state of constant shallow work. Their attention is divided. They're always switching emails, texts, apps, notifications. But true achievement requires depth, not just activity. If you want to create something meaningful, a business, a book, a skill, a legacy, you need uninterrupted focus time. So turn off your notifications, block out chunks of your calendar, silence the world, and go deep. Seneca said it best. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. If you're always switching from one thing to another, you're never fully present with any of it. Step 4. Treat time as your most valuable asset. If someone tried to steal your money, you'd fight back. But when people steal your time with distractions, interruptions, and obligations, you just give it away. Marcus Aurelius gave himself this command: concentrate every minute like a Roman doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. That's how you turn time into power, by being fully present in the moment, by attacking every minute with purpose. Here's the hard truth. You're not running out of opportunities. You're running out of minutes. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you already have. Every scroll, every excuse, every delay. It's not just a few seconds lost. It's a few inches off course. And those inches become miles over a lifetime. Quick recap. How to master your time like a Stoic. Cut the noise. Eliminate what doesn't matter. Plan with precision. Know your top 3 priorities daily. Protect your focus. Go deep. Stay there. Defend your time. Treat every minute like gold. Because when you master your time, you master your life. ChatGPT Denoy. Part 5. Don't chase success. Fall in love with the process. Here's one of the biggest lies we've been sold. Success is a destination. That if we can just get the job, the money, the followers, the recognition, then we'll be happy. Then we'll feel fulfilled. Then we'll finally have peace. But the Stoics knew better. They knew that success is not a finish line. It's a way of living, a mindset, a process, a discipline that never ends. Marcus Aurelius warned us, do not waste what remains of your life in chasing dreams of the future, but instead attend to the present, because That's what most people do. They postpone happiness. They say, I'll feel proud when I hit this goal, or I'll be at peace once I reach that milestone. But what happens when they get there? They instantly move the goalpost, they raise the bar, and the happiness they were chasing slips even further away. They're never here, never fully present, always chasing, always empty. But the Stoic doesn't live like that. A Stoic knows the process is the reward, the effort is the fulfillment, the struggle is the meaning. Think about the people who achieve extraordinary things. World-class athletes, prolific writers, elite thinkers, master craftsmen. The ones who rise above. They're not the ones obsessed with the trophy. They're the ones who wake up and train every day, rain or shine, who sit down to write not for fame, but for love of the work, who improve not for applause, but because that's who they are. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid in things that don't matter. Why? Because true mastery requires long-term thinking. Because when you fall in love with the process, you stop needing validation. And when you stop needing validation, you become unstoppable. So why do so many people struggle with this? 2 reasons. Reason 1, impatience. People want results now, fast wins, instant approval, immediate success. And when they don't see progress quickly, they give up. Seneca warned, he who is in a hurry delays the things he seeks. Greatness isn't built in days or weeks or even years. It's built in decades of consistent, focused, sometimes painful effort. The Stoic is not in a rush. They understand progress is slow. Mastery is slow. Real change is slow. But worth it. Reason 2, attachment to outcomes. Most people tie their self-worth to results. If they succeed, they feel good. If they fail, they feel worthless. That's fragile. That's reactive. That's a prison. But the Stoic detaches from outcome. They focus on effort, on virtue, on action. Marcus Aurelius wrote, do what is necessary. Let the outcome be what it will. That's strength. That's freedom. Because when you fall in love with doing, you're no longer a slave to what happens after. You find peace in the process, and success becomes inevitable. So, how do you train this mindset? Let's make it practical. Step 1, redefine success. Stop asking, did I win today? Start asking, did I show up? Did I follow through? Did I stay disciplined? Did I grow just a little? That's what matters. Not the applause, not the trophy, not the likes or the status, but the quiet commitment to be better today. Step 2, embrace the struggle. Most people treat problems like roadblocks. The Stoics saw them as stepping stones. Marcus Aurelius said, what stands in the way becomes the way. That hard workout, that failed launch, that uncomfortable conversation, that's not blocking your progress. It is the progress. You don't grow by skipping the hard parts. You grow by walking through them. Step 3, detach from external rewards. Stop working just for praise. Stop grinding just for recognition. Stop creating just for applause. Do it because it makes you stronger. Do it because it sharpens your mind. Do it because it aligns with your values. When the process itself becomes fulfilling, you no longer need anything else. And paradoxically, that's when the success comes. Not because you chased it, but because you built yourself into the kind of person it couldn't ignore. Quick recap. how to fall in love with the process. Let go of the finish line. Success is a path, not a place. Value effort over outcome. Who you become, what you get. Trust the process. Results take time. Consistency wins. Find joy in the grind. Struggle is the soil where strength grows. Detach from validation. The only approval you need is your own. Because when you stop chasing success and start honoring the process, success will chase you. ChatGPT Denoy. Part 6. Smart Solitude. How to build inner strength away from the noise. Most people are afraid to be alone. They confuse solitude with loneliness. They think being disconnected means being invisible. They fear the silence not because it's empty, but because it forces them to hear themselves. But the Stoics saw solitude differently. To them, it wasn't an escape from the world. It was a return to the self. Solitude wasn't weakness. It was a weapon. Seneca wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The Stoics didn't just tolerate solitude, they sought it. They trained in it. They sharpened their minds inside it. Because in a world full of noise, opinions, stimulation, and distraction, the strongest person isn't the loudest in the room. It's the one who can sit in a quiet room and not feel empty. Most people avoid solitude because they don't want to meet themselves. Think about it. The moment they're alone, they turn on music. They scroll endlessly. They start texting people they don't even like. They reach for anything that keeps them from having to sit in silence. Why? Because silence forces reflection, and reflection reveals truth. And most people aren't ready for that truth, but a Stoic is. A Stoic doesn't fear discomfort, they lean into it. Epictetus once said, "You are a slave to whatever you cannot part with." If you can't sit with yourself without entertainment, stimulation, or validation, you're not free. Solitude, when used wisely, is pure power. Here's what it gives you: clarity. You can finally hear your thoughts, not just echo the world's. Self-awareness. You face your values, your fears, your truths. Focus. Without the pull of notifications and distractions, your mind becomes a weapon. Independence. You stop needing the world to tell you who you are. But be careful, there's a difference between productive solitude and toxic isolation. The Stoics weren't hermits. They didn't run away from society or responsibility. They still contributed, served, acted, and led. But they understood that without intentional time alone, the mind weakens. You can't serve others if you've lost yourself. You can't lead with strength if you're constantly pulled in 10 directions. You can't stay grounded if you never stop moving. Marcus Aurelius understood this balance deeply. He wrote, "Men seek retreats for themselves in the country, by the sea, and the mountains. But nowhere can a man find a retreat more peaceful than in his own soul." The goal is not to escape life. The goal is to create space within life for reflection and mastery. So how do you build smart solitude into your life? Let's break it down. Step 1. Disconnect on purpose. Most people never truly experience solitude because they're always connected. Even when they're alone physically, their minds are still plugged in, scrolling, reacting, consuming. But solitude isn't just about being by yourself. It's about being alone with your own thoughts. So create it. Turn off the phone for 30 minutes. Take a walk with no music. Sit in silence for 5-10 minutes. each morning. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable. That's good. That means it's working. Step 2. Use solitude for deep thinking, not passive escape. Some people mistake solitude for vegging out. They say I'm alone as they binge-watch 4 hours of shows. That's not solitude. That's sedation. A Stoic uses solitude to read, write, journal, reflect, think deeply about the direction of their life. Solitude should be a sharpening session, not a numbing one. Step 3. Learn to enjoy your own company. If you can't be alone without feeling empty, that's not a signal to avoid solitude. It's a signal that you have work to do within. Use that time to ask tough questions. What am I avoiding? What do I truly want? What have I been lying to myself about? Who am I becoming? That kind of self-inquiry doesn't happen in a crowded room. It happens in the quiet. And the more you practice being with yourself, the more strength you gain. Because here's the truth. If you can master yourself in solitude, the world can never shake you. The loudest people are often the most insecure. The ones who constantly need attention, noise, and activity. They haven't met themselves yet. But you're building something else. Stillness, discipline, inner fire. And that makes you untouchable. Quick recap. How to practice smart solitude. Like a Stoic. Intentionally disconnect. Silence the noise to hear your thoughts. Reflect, don't numb. Use solitude for sharpening, not escaping. Face yourself, your fears, your values, your truth. Enjoy your own company. Build a relationship with your mind. Balance solitude with service. Step away to get clear, then return stronger. The world is loud. It always will be. But you don't have to be. Those who control their time, their focus, their mind, will always seek the quiet, because in silence, they don't get lost. They get stronger. ChatGPT, Danoi, Part 7. The power of strategic indifference. Why ignoring certain things will make you stronger. Here's a truth most people never learn. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every insult needs a comeback. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every problem is yours to solve. But most people, they waste massive amounts of mental and emotional energy on things that don't matter. Petty arguments, gossip, social media outrage, trying to please everyone, reacting to every inconvenience with frustration. And then they wonder why they feel burned out, distracted, and directionless. But the Stoics didn't live like that. They practiced something most modern people don't. Strategic indifference. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about it. Most of what upsets you isn't the event. It's your reaction to the event. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your flight gets delayed. A stranger online says something stupid. It's not the situation that destroys your peace. It's the meaning you attach to it. But a Stoic doesn't give away their peace so easily. They choose what's worth their energy and what isn't. That's strategic indifference. Epictetus warned, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Translation: no one can drag you into drama unless you let them. No insult can ruin your day unless you hand over your power. This isn't about being passive. It's about being selective. It's not about ignoring the world. It's about choosing what truly deserves a piece of your soul. So how do you build this kind of mental strength? Let's break it down. Step 1. Identify what truly matters. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year? Does this align with my values? Is this problem even mine to solve? Most of the things you stress over, you'll forget in a week. A rude comment, a delay, someone else's bad mood. If it won't matter later, don't let it consume you now. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Step 2. Stay unmoved in the face of noise. Not everything deserves a reaction. In fact, silence is often your most powerful move. When someone insults you, stay still. When someone tries to bait you into drama, don't bite. When life throws a petty inconvenience, your way, breathe and move forward. Seneca said, "A wise man is content with his own approval." You don't need to clap back. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be right in every debate. Your peace is yours to protect. Step 3. Limit exposure to toxicity. Some people live for conflict. They stir the pot. They drain your energy. They thrive on gossip, outrage, and negativity. The Stoic response: distance. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to fix them. You just need to limit your access. Remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Step 4. Accept what you can't control. Most people waste energy trying to bend the world to their will. They stress over politics, opinions, outcomes, other people's behavior. But Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have been made by nature to bear whatever happens to you. You're stronger than you think, and you don't need the world to bend for you. You just need to bend your reaction." Here's the core of strategic indifference. It's not about apathy, it's about precision. You care deeply about what matters, and you refuse to be distracted by what doesn't. You're not indifferent to life. You're indifferent to the unnecessary. Because every time you waste energy on something meaningless, you rob your future of something great. Quick recap: how to practice strategic indifference. Like a Stoic, ask, does this deserve my energy? If not, walk away. Protect your peace. Not every insult deserves a reaction. Limit exposure to negativity. Distance is power. Focus on what you can control. Let go of the rest. Respond with intention, not emotion. That's real strength. Because in the end, the strongest people aren't those who fight every battle. They're the ones who choose their battles carefully. They know their mission. They protect their attention. They guard their emotions like treasure. Because they know indifference to what doesn't matter is how you make room for what truly does. Ready for the final level. Let's move into Part 8. Be tough on yourself, but kind to others. The true formula for strength and success. Part 8. Be tough on yourself, but kind to others. The true formula for strength and success. Weak people make excuses. They blame the circumstances. They justify their laziness. They expect results without effort and complain when life doesn't deliver. But the Stoics, they flip that script completely. A true Stoic is ruthlessly disciplined with themselves and deeply compassionate with others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." And that single line, it's one of the most powerful principles for personal excellence. Because most people do the opposite. They let themselves slide, but hold everyone else to impossible standards. They justify their own flaws while harshly judging others. They demand perfection from the world, but tolerate mediocrity within. That's not strength. That's ego. Real strength, the Stoic kind, starts within. If you want to lead, grow, and master your life, you must hold yourself to a higher standard than the world does. That means waking up when you said you would, following through when no one's watching, saying no to weakness even when no one would blame you for giving in, taking ownership even when it hurts. Epictetus once challenged his students, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Ask yourself that now. Most people want to be strong, but they don't want to be tested. They say they'll wake up early but hit snooze. They say they'll train or study, but scroll instead. They say they'll stay calm, but snap at the smallest inconvenience. And then they wonder why their lives don't change. The Stoic doesn't make excuses. They don't wait for the right time. They don't postpone effort until they feel motivated. They train, they show up, they execute, not because anyone's watching, but because they refuse to be weak. But here's the twist. Stoics are only strict with themselves. They're patient with everyone else. They don't belittle people for being undisciplined. They don't mock others for falling short. They don't hold others to the same impossible standards they hold for themselves. Why? Because they understand human nature. They understand that not everyone has walked the same path, and they know that judgment weakens the soul while compassion strengthens it. Seneca taught, "Whenever you see someone going astray, show him the right path, not with arrogance or fault-finding, but with kindness and guidance." That's Stoicism. Lead yourself with fire. Lead others with light. So how do you live this out? Let's make it practical. Step 1. Eliminate your own excuses. No more, "I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm just not feeling it today." If it must be done, do it now. Build the habit. Build the system. Remove the emotion. Execute the task. Wake up early. Train your mind. Read, reflect, write, build, practice. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be relentless. Step 2. Forgive others. Be patient. Be kind. When someone falls short, understand. When someone lashes out, don't retaliate. When someone's lost offer, light not judgment. Everyone is fighting a battle you can't see. Most people don't have the tools. They don't have the mindset. They're ruled by emotion, not reason. So don't meet their weakness with more weakness. Meet it with strength. Meet it with wisdom. Meet it with silence or with help. You don't need to correct everyone. Just lead by example. Step 3. Focus on your mission, not on being right. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, you don't need external validation. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to argue to win. You don't need to crush people to feel powerful. Your strength comes from within. And the quieter it is, the more powerful it becomes. Quick recap: the Stoic formula for success. Demand more from yourself. No excuses. High standards. Full ownership. Expect less from others. Be kind. Be patient. Offer guidance, not judgment. Lead by example. Don't preach, embody. Relentlessly pursue excellence. But don't use your strength to shame. Stay humble, stay focused, stay compassionate. Because true strength isn't just about willpower. It's about emotional control. It's about character. It's about how you show up for yourself and how you show up for the world. When you're hard on yourself but kind to others, you become rare. You become powerful. You become free. And that's the final evolution of the Stoic path. But there's one more thing. To bring everything together. Let's close this journey with part 9. Failure is not the end. It's your greatest teacher. Say the word, and we'll complete the transformation.